If you don't take Social Security at the right time, you could miss out on thousands of dollars. So when is the best time to take Social Security? Well, the best and the only way to know the exact right time to take Social Security is if you know exactly when you're going to die.
Awkward?
And of course, since that's not possible, then the second best option for maximizing your benefits is actually a tie among 3 different times. And each has its own advantages and its own drawbacks, depending on your health, your financial needs, as well as your long-term plans. That's why in this video, I will go over the 3 most popular ages to start taking your Social Security and talk about the pros and the cons of each and help you decide which one is right for you and when should you begin taking Social Security. Before we begin, let's take a quick refresher on how Social Security works. Your Social Security check is determined by your best 35 working years and the age that you start taking your Social Security benefits. This is a complex system of determining how much your check is going to be, but in a nutshell, the more you earn and the later you choose to take your Social Security, the bigger that your check will be. Your full retirement age, or FRA, depends on when you were born, and here's a chart to help you understand it. As you can see, the full retirement ages range anywhere from 66 years old for those born in 55 to 67 years old for those born in 1960. However, if you don't want to wait until your full retirement age to take Social Security, you can start taking Social Security as early as the age of 62. But if you choose to take Social Security at age 62, you won't get your full retirement benefit. Social Security deducts roughly 6% of your benefits for every year that you start taking it earlier. This means that if your full retirement age was 67 and you start taking it at age 62 instead, your check will be reduced by about 30%. So it'll be 30% less than your full benefit. And remember, and this is really, really important, once you start taking Social Security, your benefits won't grow. They won't, when you reach full retirement age, they won't go up. If you start at 62, you'll be stuck with that 30% lower benefit for the rest of your life because you started 5 years earlier and it was a 6% reduction per year. 5 years times 6% is 30% reduction. You keep that for the rest of your life. That was the benefit of signing up early, is that you got paid early, but you got a reduced amount for the rest of your life. So keep that in mind. The earlier you take it, the smaller your check is going to be. Now, if you choose to take Social Security after your full retirement age, you can actually get a bigger check. If you don't take Social Security at full retirement, then your benefit will begin growing by 8% per year approximately until you reach age 70. Now, if you delay further than age 70, your check doesn't grow anymore, so it doesn't make any sense to postpone it longer than the age 70. So in short, if you decide to take Social Security at 62, you get a smaller benefit, but you're getting all those checks for a longer time. If you take Social Security at full retirement age, you're going to get a bigger check, but that means that you had to wait from 62 to 67 and not take those checks for 4 to 5 years, depending on what your full retirement age was. So between these two options of taking the money early or taking the money later, there's been a lot of research done on this. And I'll give you an example from Britannica Money. Britannica Money says that your break even between the two is 78 years old and 8 months. So if you live to 78 years old and 8 months, you did better taking Social Security at your full retirement age of either 67 or 68, depending on where yours was. If you die before you reach 78, then you actually made more money taking it at 62. You were getting less monthly, but you got to have Social Security for that extra 4 to 5 years. Finally, if you delay your Social Security until age 70, you'll get the biggest possible monthly check. But this also means that you waited 8 years from 62 to 70, 8 extra years before you got any money from Social Security at all. So there's no guarantee that you're going to make more money. You're going to have a larger check. You have to live several extra years in order for that to be worth it. But if you live an extra 20 years, you'll be really glad you waited. We can tell you that your break-even age for that is 82 years old and 6 months. So if you live longer than 82 years old and 6 months, you're making more money by waiting from 67 to 70. This is the reason why people say the only way to know the right time to take Social Security is to know exactly when you're going to die. However, since no one knows exactly when their time is coming, choosing when to take Social Security is more about your personal situation and your preferences than a definite mathematical answer. Now, personally, my plan is to use assets to get to 70 and then to take my Social Security at 70 to maximize my benefit. But that's just what I'm thinking in my preference. And who knows what the future holds for me. But let's take a closer look at these 3 most popular times that people start taking Social Security, and let's talk about the pros and the cons of each one. age 62 is the earliest time that you can take Social Security. This is also the safest time, we'll call it, to take Social Security, because if you take Social Security at 62, you never have to worry about break even. And you're sure that you're going to enjoy the benefits of paying into Social Security and all those taxes that you've paid in all of those years. Now, since there's no way to really tell when you're going to go or pass on, then a lot of people choose to take the money that they've been paying into Social Security their whole life. They choose to take it as soon as possible. So a lot of people retire early at 62. Now, as for the cons, the main downside of taking Social Security at 62 is that you can potentially miss out on thousands of dollars of lifelong earnings, because yes, the break-even age is still 78, but a lot of people live past 78. So if you're healthy at 62 and you take Social Security, you could be missing out on thousands and thousands of dollars that you would have had if you had waited. Also, if you're still working and you choose to take Social Security before your full retirement age, you are subject to a low earnings test. And the low earnings test is $23,400 in 2025. And for every $2 that you make above the low earnings test, $1 will be deducted from your Social Security check. So there's no point in taking Social Security if you're working. So if you still have income, you're probably not going to want to take Social Security. You'll probably want to have the most deductions that you can. And that continues. I'm talking about the $2 that you earn reduces your Social Security check by $1. That continues all the way to full retirement age, which for most people now is going to be 67. That's typically for those 5 years. And that will mean that your break-even point, if it's reducing your benefit, your break-even point will be much earlier before the age of 78. So don't reduce your benefit by taking Social Security while you're earning income. Wait until you retire for sure before you take your Social Security. Now, before I continue, let me just jump in here real fast and say that if you're finding this video helpful, please consider leaving a like to help and support our channel. This helps this video to reach other people who have questions like you. All right, let's get back to the video. The next option is taking Social Security at full retirement age. Social Security was designed to give people a steady income when they're in retirement. And that's why, in theory, the time to retire would be when you reach your full retirement age and when you can claim your full Social Security benefits. So full retirement age, or 66 for some people, 67 for others, is the most popular time to start taking Social Security. After all, who wouldn't want to get their full retirement benefits? However, while claiming your full benefit is nice, remember that you could have started taking it 4 or 5 years ago for a reduced amount. And your break-even point for most people is still going to be around 78 years old. Meanwhile, people who don't need the money at full retirement or have other options to get them to 70, they can delay it until 70, and that way they'll get a much bigger check than when they would have taken it at full retirement age. That's why taking your Social Security at your full retirement age is seen as the middle option. Your check won't be as low as taking it early at 62, but it won't be as big as if you would have delayed until age 70. Now look, I don't want to come off as dark, but you have to think about how long you're expecting to live. Now, I know you can't control that, and there are things that can happen. And some of us, unfortunately, are not going to live till full retirement age. Some of us aren't going to live to 70. Some of us aren't going to live to 80. But you have to think about that. What is your health? What is your longevity? What's the history in your family? And consider the pros and cons of waiting. Because the biggest con of waiting for your maximum Social Security benefit at 80 is that you never know if you're going to be able to enjoy it or not. Not only that, but the break-even point for taking Social Security at 67 versus 70 is going to be when you turn 82 years old. However, if you take a closer look at CDC's numbers, you'll find out that it's not as bleak as it actually sounds. This is because people who make it to age 65 are actually more likely to live to around 83.9 years old, because the CDC has all data from everyone. Imagine, a child dying, I don't even like saying it out loud, but a child dying in childhood, that affects the average life expectancy in the country. So instead, if you just look at the people who are turning 65 and say, how long do they live? On average, someone who turns 65 lives to 83.9 years old, so almost 84. So chances are, if you make it to the age 65 already, you might just be able to make that bigger Social Security check at 70 and make it make sense, because most likely you're going to live into your 80s and mid-80s. But again, the truth is, nobody knows when the right time is to take Social Security. Nobody knows when they are going to kick the can, kick the bucket, whatever you want to say, pass on to the other side. We just don't know. But by now you should understand that what most people are choosing is between the age 62, the age of full retirement, 66 or 67, or the age 70, nothing beyond that. And you should have a good idea of when you plan on taking Social Security. Now, in addition to Social Security and when to take it, there's also the consideration of, will my Social Security increase? And most years it does. Now, if you want to learn more about how Social Security can change every year, we call that the cost of living increase, or the COLA. And I made a whole video that I'll share over here for you to watch at the end of this. Other than that, thank you for watching today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.